2013. As you can see, we've got the full suite of Audyssey sound processing modes, the standard Dolby and DTS sound, 7 HDMI inputs on this receiver. We've got a made for iPod iPhone connection, which is good. Also Apple AirPlay if you prefer wireless, and plenty else, Spotify, wireless streaming and more. Okay, so here's the 2013 remote control, and it looks pretty similar to last year's model. No bad thing, pretty clean, clear, easy to use layout. It's got a matte finish, which I think last year's was slightly glossier. Next we have the usual packaging with the instruction manual. I can see a disc in there which has probably got the full manual on for the AVR X2000. There's just a quick start guide there. Bigger than it looks, but it has got a fair few languages. The FM aerial is just an FM tuner on this receiver. We've got some handy labels here if you want to label your speaker cable, or indeed other cables. You've got HDMI input stickers. It's quite a nice touch actually. Some safety instructions. We'll pretty much ignore those, but you know, always take precaution. And there seem to be some stray screws in here. Probably actually the pins from these speaker terminals, of course they are. Here is the power supply. And last but not least, apart from the amp, is the Audyssey mic. And there it is, in all its glory. Plenty of cable there, if you've got a big old room. And here is the AVR X2000. Just about light enough for me to hold for a short period of time. So here we have it, a nice clean display, two big control knobs on either side of the display, source button here for flicking through all the sources, and then a volume on the right. You can see on the front here there's a headphone jack, also a front mounted HDMI input, which is always quite handy I think, and also a USB connection, which I presume, although it's not marked, is made for iPod and iPhone as per the spec, which is a nice feature. And then last but not least is the connection for the Audyssey setup mic. Above these you can see just a normal selection of controls. This amp supports a zone 2, so you can select that here. There's a dimmer for dimming the display all the way to off, which is handy, and some quick select buttons for 4 of your key inputs. Also here is a tuner preset switch. You can choose your radio presets. This is just an FM tuner, network compatible, so you can stream internet radio too. Usual selection of logos on the top here, which gives us a little hint at what the AV amp can do. Dolby 2 HD is here. Dolby Pro Logic 2Z, which allows you to add front height channels to this 7.1 amp. DTS HD Master Audio. NSV, which is the video processing and noise reduction that Denon uses. HDMI, of course, 7 HDMI inputs, I think we mentioned that a few times. RDS and radio text for the FM tuner. Audyssey, the latest Audyssey sound calibration is on board. 3D. This amp can of course pass through 3D. Multi-zone, it supports a second zone if you want to send video to a second room. And also network. This is of course a network AV receiver, which allows you to connect it to your home internet network and do all sorts of streaming. So this is the back of the AVR X2000, as you've probably worked out. It's nice and clean compared to AV receivers of yore, which used to be a bit more, a bit busier on the back and a bit harder to get your head around. This is actually fairly neat and tidy. So the 6 HDMI inputs of course support 3D and 4K pass-through, and also 4K upscaling from both analog and digital video. These are all assignable, 6 of them. Of course there's the 7th on the front, and there's your HDMI output with audio return channel. 2 optical inputs. The network connection allows you to get onto your home network. You can not only stream using Apple AirPlay from iOS devices or iTunes, but also access Spotify, Last.fm and other music services, and also internet radio. Also DLNA 1.5 support, which means you can stream music including HD audio formats such as FLAC HD or WAV HD. Lest we forget, there is also the USB input on the front for connecting Apple devices. Pre-outs for a Zone 2 and also your subwoofer connection. Standard composite video inputs if you still use composite video, and also a component video again, just to have the legacy connections on there. There's a selection of audio inputs, 4 in fact, and there's your FM antenna. As we can see, the speaker terminals are colour coded, and these match the labels that are supplied with the amp, which means you can colour code your speaker cable too.